All right, we are live. Good evening, everybody out there in the YouTube, the Rumble, and X lands. I guess that covers everything, right? Can't say TV land because this isn't TV. Well, I suppose you could be watching YouTube or I don't know if Rumble has a app for televisions or X. X probably does. It's probably a way to use X on TV. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, right? Anyway. Welcome to tonight's show. I am your host, Rich White, as usual. And of course, you know what you're watching, I hope. If you don't, this is called This Week Unloaded, and you never know what we're going to talk about on this show. Let's see, who do we got out there on the YouTube sides? We got Ron 2A Matters, Pack Rat's Attic, and Gizzard Gary. And Gizzard says Roku has Rumble app. So, yeah, I suppose you could be watching this on your television on Rumble as well. So, still not sure if I should say out there in TV land or not, because it's still technically internet. You're just using the TV as a monitor. And with the quality of modern televisions, you can do that without any drawback, unlike in the old days where TVs didn't have as high a refresh rate as a computer monitor and whatnot. So if you were trying to play a game or something, TV wasn't the best thing to be trying to play a PC game. They were fine for playing console games because the consoles were made to operate at that lower refresh rate. Whereas a computer, your PC games generally were going to be running at a 60 hertz refresh rate in the old days. And the TVs of that era were only running like between a 24, I think it was, and 30 hertz refresh rate. So yeah, the things are different. You get TVs that run up to 445 hertz or more, maybe. I haven't checked in a while. Last I looked, the highest refresh rate on a TV was 145 or 144, somewhere in that range. Anyway, which is perfect for playing a video game, a modern video game. So, Pat Gratz Addict said he got an adapter for his phone, so should have something up soon. Adapter for what for your phone? To plug it into something else? What? Chris from the 740 just jumped in out there, YouTube chat. So evening to you, sir. So yeah, if I seem a little bit distracted, it's because I got the Steeler game on the TV right now. I got everything set up to where I can see the TV and my monitor. Yeah. Yes, I know what the score is, Gary. And the officials don't know the difference between a offensive tripping call and a running into the passer call. Anyway, I'm sure all of you out there have heard the big news that's been going on this weekend. Military, along with the DEA, went in to Venezuela and arrested Nicolas Maduro, the dictator down there. And of course, you got the usual cast of characters on the left throwing a temper tantrum about it, saying it's illegal. They didn't notify them first, blah, 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 blah. Right? The same people that were running around justifying when Obama used the War Powers Act, or technically the War Powers Resolution Act, to go in and get people like Muammar Gaddafi, when they didn't even do a good job of that, because we all know what happened there with Benghazi and that, total mess. And Osama bin Laden in Pakistan are now bitching because Trump used the same thing to go into Venezuela and get Maduro. For those of you who don't know the history of Maduro, this guy is nothing but a dictator. He's not even the legitimate um, president of the country, as he's lost the presidential elections and then used the military so that basically he refused to leave power. Remember what they were accusing Trump of going to do back when in 2020 after the election, that he was going to refuse to leave power and blah, 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 blah. Well, that's exactly what Maduro did. And the left is defending this guy. And, he's one of the biggest drug dealers in the world. The guy runs the Venezuela drug cartel, as well as just completely oppressing the people of Venezuela, destroyed their economy more so than what Chavez did. To put that in perspective, before Nicolas Maduro succeeded Chavez when he died, Venezuela was producing 2.1 to 2.4 million barrels of oil a day. Okay. After Maduro, that dropped to 700,000 barrels of oil a day. So yeah, things have been bad on the front and oil was Venezuela's primary export. I should say legal export at this point. And Maduro completely screwed all that up for them, which in turn, people in Venezuela are poorer than what they were. They don't have as much money as what they did. They're paying higher taxes now. And whenever they protest any of this, he sicks the military on them. There's footage floating around online. If you look, I didn't bother looking it up because I didn't know how in depth I was going to get beforehand. But anyway, there is footage online that was from the news broadcast at the time when they had their last big protest down there, where Venezuelan military armored vehicles are running over protesters on orders from Maduro. So, yeah, not a good guy. Not a good guy at all. No, Packard asking how many Americans were lost. None. None. Zip, zilch, nada. Anybody wondering? His score is now 10-3. But yeah, nobody was lost. And the Democrats are all saying, "Oh, he committed war crimes and other." Oh my, it's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous what the left is doing right now. If we'd have said the same things that they're saying about Trump when Obama went and got Osama bin Laden, they'd have called us every name in the book. Well, they did anyway, but you know, we didn't give Obama a bunch of grief for going and getting bin Laden, but they're giving our side grief because Trump went in and got Maduro, who, by the way, I might add, back during the Biden administration, had a $25 million bounty put on his head. And what makes that even better is one of the people running their mouths about it is Kamala Harris. Packard says Trump let the military do their job. Yes, the military and the DEA went in and got him. The military was assisting the DEA in their apprehension of Maduro, who, by the way, in case you didn't know, was under indictment in the U.S. federal court for the District of New York. He has been since 2020. Instead of going in and getting him, Biden just put a $25 million bounty on his head. So, yeah. Don't forget, this is a guy who the left has cozied up with, particularly leftist celebrities. It was 25 under Biden when they originally put the bounty on was 25 million. It eventually got to be 50. I didn't see who increased it to that amount. I don't know if that was under Biden or Trump, so I didn't mention the $50 million part. But yeah, I know at least that it was 25 million under Biden for a fact. So like I said, I don't know if the 50 million was put in place during the Biden administration or the Trump administration. So I didn't want to conflate that or appropriate that to Biden if it shouldn't have been. You get what I'm saying? I wanted to keep it to what I knew to actually be factual. Okay, so that's why I didn't bring up the $50 million part. But you're right; it was 50 million for information leading to his arrest. So makes you wonder: did somebody in his regime turn him in? Be like, hey, you pay us the bounty, and we'll let you in and make sure that nobody opposes you. Because apparently the ground troops went in unopposed from what some people were saying. So I don't know if that's true or not, but makes you wonder if they went in unopposed if that 50 million wasn't spent. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it would explain a lot, that's for sure. Oh damn! Talk about insult to injury, literally. Guy gets injured on a plane, and on the same play, he also gets called for offensive holding. Uh, anyway, like I said, you'll have to excuse me if I get up distracted by the football game. But yeah, uh, crap. Yeah, it's bad, and there have been protests. I do have an article that was. Well, they're not going to tell. They're probably not going to tell you if they spent the bounty or not, because they're going to want to protect the people who, uh, if they turned them in from repercussions from people that might still be loyal to Maduro. I'm not surprised that he would say we saved the 50 million. On the other, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that money was spent. Anyway, been joined out there by Rob D, the New York Outcast on the YouTube side of things. So evening, Rob. Yeah, let me see. I still haven't checked the other side of things. Let me see. Anything on from anybody on Rumble? Nope. And got to go over and check X. So give me a second here to pull this up on X. There. Yep, nobody said anything on X. Oh, by the way, let me know what you guys think of the new background. I made that earlier tonight with the assistance of Grok over on X. So, yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. But let me know what you all think of the new background. The eagle with the U.S. flag and the Constitution written on the flag. But anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, I got an article pulled up that was written by uh, the senior editor of investigations for Fox News about the protests that miraculously showed up within 12 hours. You would expect maybe a day or two at the earliest. Nope. Didn't even take them a day to have all the protest up. Yeah. Pack Rat says he thinks it's funny that everyone is protesting, but the Venezuelans are partying. Yeah. Actually, he said the Venezuelans. Yeah, you spelled Venezuelans wrong. Venezuela. Anyway, yeah, I know. It's one of those foreign countries. Who cares? No, I kid. But yeah. Well, I certainly wasn't going to draw that by hand, Rob. He says I liked it until you said an AI POS helped. Grok's not as bad as the other ones. You can get Grok to admit to being wrong about stuff. You'll never get Chat GPT to do so. You can get Grok to talk about things that Chat GPT will just refuse to talk about. So yeah, Grok is my go-to if I need something AI at this point. Wasn't Bloomberg, Pack Rat. I got the article goes and spells out exactly who's responsible. It wasn't Bloomberg. Rob said, puts a smiley face emoji and says it looks good. Yeah. Pack Rat says, sorry, he can't spell. Yeah. Well, when you do a report in college for psychology class, in which the theme of your psychology class was the effect of pornography in the Western world, and your report you do on that class is the porn industry in Latin America, you learn to spell Venezuela. I tell you, you learn to spell Venezuela. That was another thing. The female prisoners in Venezuela were forced into prostitution and pornography under Maduro. So actually, that started under Chavez, but Maduro made it worse. So, so yeah, there's another thing you can chalk up the evils of Maduro. You know, Rob says he wouldn't even have attempted college without a spell checker. Trust me, there were times where the spell checker built into Microsoft Word came in handy. And what was nice is as long as you were enrolled in school, you got Microsoft Office for free. So you didn't have to pay for it. At least in my college. Some colleges you have to pay for it. Where I went to school, it was supplied free of charge. Rob says, but he's great at other things. Yeah. I mean, R&L displays were pretty good. Too bad it didn't really catch on because those are nice. I have one of Rob's firearm displays that he made, and it's a nice firearms display. Let me do something here. I will show everybody that of which I speak of. But they're not available anymore, but let me find it anyway and I'll show you. I do get a picture of it somewhere around here. All right. Now let me go back over here. Share screen, window, which is the right one. Yeah, I'm going to share that on. Mhm. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So let me go back over here. See, that's the stand right there, the base and wooden magazine essentially. And yeah, they were really nice, really well made. No rough spots on the wood. They were all nicely sanded and finished. But yeah. By the way, that's now a rifle. It's no longer a pistol because it now has a stock on it. Legally, legally has a stock on it. Pack Rat says didn't have spell check when he was in school. Didn't even have computers. Yeah, computers were starting to be a big thing when I was in middle school. We had a computer lab where we took typing classes and stuff, and those had spell checker on them too because they had. Oh hell, I can't remember what the name of the damn word processing program we used was, but it had spell checker on it. We've been joined out there by Denny's Plant Based Journey on the YouTube side. Evening, sir. But yeah, that's. And I also got a different foregrip on her now. That one, the one that's on it in the picture, that's the Stark SE5. Yeah, I know Stark Industries. In fact, SE5, the actual name of the company that makes it. But that one currently isn't on anything because I have a different one on there. It's the what the hell's the name of that company? Future Forged. It's a Future Forged angled foregrip that's on it, similar to the Magpul, but it's custom fitted to my hand, so it fits better. Rob said he's still got boxes of stock, but no legal way to sell them online. Throw them up on Etsy. Pack Rats Addict says his first computer was Radio Shack. My first computer was a Tandy TRS-80 Keller Computer 2, which was a Radio Shack computer. The primary way is when I first got it, because it was before they came out with the floppy drive for it, was either a cartridge similar to an Atari cartridge that you stuck in the side, or plugging a cassette recorder into it. Then he says the TRS-80 was the first school computer in his freshman year. Packer said his first computer was a Commodore 64, which they are making again. Don't know if you saw this or not. Commodore, I guess, is back and uh, re-released the Commodore 64. Gizzard said his parents had one of those metal calculators with the grooves for each digit. Use the stylus to pull down the numbers. Oh, you mean an abacus? Danny says, "Yep, saw it. They're selling it again." Yeah, I mean, the age of retro is in full effect, especially particularly electronics. Because was it a year or two ago, Atari re-released the 2600 that also plays 52 and 7200 games. So yeah, it's interesting. And the Atari 2600 also plays the cartridges. You can put the cartridges in. Plus, it has onboard memory, which has built-in games to it. It has various 2600, 5200, and 7200 system games built into it. Kind of cool. Then he says a slide rule. Yeah. Packrat said he loved the tape drive. Yeah, that was funny, especially when you would take tapes from it, not realize that they were computer programming, and put them in a stereo and listen to it, and it sounded like damn dial-up modem going. Oh, the computer language. Yeah. And then he says, "Shoot, you can buy handhelds right now that play two, 20,000 to 30,000 games from all those old gaming systems. They only cost around, yeah, they're not expensive, 59 to 200. The Atari 2600 is not that much either. But if you got your old games still, you can play them on that if it's not something that was built into it." Gizzard says, "Check my email." Okay. He says, "Gorn." Um, Let me stop sharing that. There we go. Magic Brain Calculator. Okay. Let me come over here, and then whoops. I can't share that yet. It would help if can I forget it to be bigger? No, I guess not. I guess I'll have to share it that way. No big deal. No personal information's list shown. So, yep, I'll have to share it that way. Won't let me preview the picture. So, usually I can preview the picture, which is what I normally do, but this time it's not letting me. But that's what Gary was talking about right there. So, yeah. I've never actually seen one of those. Huh, interesting. Then he says we're all showing our age. Yeah. Yeah, Rob says we all get older, just part of life. Yep, pretty much. Denny says he's seen them. Yeah, I've never seen one of those. My mother always had an electric calculator from the earliest that I can remember. But then I was born in the mid 70s. So Packrat says he remembers when first got cable TV. Yeah, I do too. I remember when we first got it. Gary said they had electric adding machines, but mostly offices had those. Yeah, I would assume they were probably pretty expensive back in the day when you were younger. Rob says it's crazy to think how much has changed in the last 30 years. Hmm. Gary said first true handheld calculator he saw was in sixth grade in 1972. Was a Texas Instruments. Yeah, I believe they were the first ones to make a handheld electric calculator. But that's what my mother's was. She had an old Texas Instruments one. Actually, she had two. She had one that was just a calculator, and then she had one that was the calculator with the paper roll on it, where you, after, as you're calculating things, it would print out what you were doing. Then he says when he was a kid, his mother was going back to college to get her business degree. She took a computer class using the punch cards. He says, "You remember seeing those cards? Things have really changed since then." Yeah, there were still punch card computers that were in use at the school I went to in the '80s. They still had punch card computers that they were using. The method that they used for grading the cities standardized test, 'cause Pittsburgh had what was called MAP, Monitoring Achievement in Pittsburgh, and those were scored on what was essentially a next generation kind of thing that used a reader to read the answer bubbles in a similar manner to what punch cards were read by the computer to grade the test. Then he says they still have one of those old adding machines with the keys like a typewriter. You pulled the lever for each transaction. Yeah. Packard said he had a TI 80, which will be a Texas Instruments 80 for those wondering what TI stood for. Um, Gary says he can remember when the older stores downtown had the old manual cash registers with the flippers on top that showed the price and the lever on the side. Believe it or not, in the 90s, across the street from our apartment that Amy and I had, there was a little convenience store, and they were still using one of those cash registers. They had not upgraded to an electric, which was funny because there were other locations for this convenience store, and the other ones all had the electronic setups with the laser reader, UPC readers, and everything. I briefly worked at the one that was across the street from our apartment as a second job, and we had to punch everything in by hand still. Yeah. Gary said, and back before her barcodes. Yep. This store was like taking a step back in time because everything had the price tag on there. There weren't prices listed on shelves. You had to look at the product. I mean, and it wasn't ran by a bunch of old people either, which is the crazy part. It wasn't like you had old folks that didn't want to upgrade. It just had the old type of cash register and price tag system. Then they just never updated that store for whatever reason. Like I said, every other store in the chain that I had been in had the electronic system with the barcode scanner and the electric cash register, but this one didn't. Gary says the old stores actually had bulk meats behind a glass display. You pointed out what you wanted and told them how much. They would wrap it in paper, put the price on it, and you paid in front. Well, it's basically how the meat market here works. But there was a Giant Eagle back in the early '80s was still doing that, at least at their Allegheny Center location, which was in the mall, Allegheny Center Mall. They had the meat case where you tell them how much you wanted, depending on what meat there was, because they had meat. They still had the glass meat counter, but they also had the cellophane wrapped stuff. our meat market does that too. They'll have the cellophane wrap stuff in a cooler, but then they also have the stuff in the glass case. People didn't trust barcodes at first. They would have the price on that also, and people would constantly compare to make sure. Yeah, that was still the, when I worked at Giant Eagle, that was still an issue. Giant Eagle had a policy to where if something rang up wrong, you got the first, if you buying multiple of it, you got the first one free, and then all others after that were at the actual price on the shelf. If they rang up lower than what was on the shelf, then you weren't going to say anything. That was to your benefit, right? Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Gary. Like I said, we got a meat market right here that does that, and the old Giant Eagle. I worked at the Giant Eagle after it moved from Allegheny Center over to Center Avenue in Pittsburgh, or Cedar Avenue rather, on the north side. Anybody is from Pittsburgh? That's the Giant Eagle I worked at, the one on Cedar Avenue on the north side, which I believe is still there. But anyway, when they moved the store, they did away with the glass case and everything went being the cellophane wrap stuff. But, yeah, Rob says usually when he sees buy one get one, the first one is usually twice the price of the normal as normal. Yeah, everybody checked out the local paper for prices and coupons. Yep. I remember my mother clipping coupons. My grandmother too. The meat market that was in Allegheny Center Mall beside the Giant Eagle, they still were doing green stamps when I was younger. My parents were, grandparents would collect green stamps there when they would go. That's where they would actually go buy meat. They wouldn't buy the meat in the Giant Eagle in Allegheny Center, even though they did have the more fresh stuff that was right there in the counter. They would, in the meat case, they would go next door to the butcher shop. Northern Meat Market was the name of it, and they would get green stamps when they would buy their meats or other stuff there that the supermarket didn't have because they sold more than just meat, but they had different seasonings and stuff that the standard supermarket didn't have. Yeah, Friday was payday, so grocery stores were packed with people late on Fridays. Yeah, when I was working at Giant Eagle, the first of the month was a madhouse because that's when everybody would be getting their Social Security, their food stamps, all that stuff, and it would just be a madhouse. Pat Rat says he won't be listening. Oh, he'll be listening but won't be commenting much. He has to go get his stepson from work, and he fell off his scooter and broke his elbow a few days ago. Well, hopefully he gets better soon. Gary says back then Walmart wasn't a thing, so just about everyone shopped locally for most things. Pittsburgh didn't have a Walmart until I moved from after I moved from there. Yeah, we kept seeing things about Walmart, and it's like, what the hell is Walmart? We didn't have any. The first Walmart I went to was in Florida, Orlando, to be exact. Anyway, I do have an article I wanted to read. So, getting distracted. You people are distracting. Anyway, let me pull this up here. Okay, it's still pulled up on X, and I can just come over here and share it. There it is. Share. All right. The article is who organized and funded the pro Maduro demonstrations? I was up when the news broke that U.S. forces had possibly had a military strike on Caracas. By the way, this is by Asra Nomani. She's the, I said earlier, but for those of you who weren't here at the time, she is, well, it says in the article, so you'll figure it out. Immediately, I knew where to look next, not for confirmation from the Pentagon, but for signals. And she puts a link, says, read my first story for Fox News and new role as senior editor of investigations to understand the full narrative of how the street protests were organized within 12 hours before Nicolas Maduro was even on U.S. soil. And then she has the link to her story over on Fox News in and of itself. And she also has a link to, says to watch a video about it too. Anyway, watch the video here to hear the protest organizers in their own words as they chronicle how they mobilized foot soldiers for the new class war. They say they are fighting against American imperialism. They had, oh, excuse me, they admit they got an unexpected ally, Democratic Party activists in 5050 or 5501. Yeah, there we go. A group launched last year to organize hashtag Tesla takedown protest against Elon Musk and a hashtag hands off protest against Trump. What I discovered. As U.S. forces captured Maduro, a parallel operation began almost instantly inside the United States. A rapid, coordinated information and street mobilization campaign by a network of self described socialist, Marxist, and communist organizations, most of which operate as nonprofits that do not have to pay taxes. I'll lay out how I followed the breadcrumbs in this special X reporter's notebook. For 3 years since October 7th, I've been seeing the same thing at protest after protest Venezuelan flags showing up at anti Israel rallies. Not randomly, not organically. Always alongside the same slogans, the same organizers, the same faces. That's when I knew this wasn't about Gaza or Venezuela or peace. When activists protested Benjamin Netanyahu and burnt the American flag and painted an upside red triangle using the symbol Hamas uses for targets, writing Hamas is coming, I went to their bus pickup spots to follow the money. I saw protesters climbing into buses. That's when I saw their t shirts. They were all proudly wearing red t shirts for the Party for Socialism and Liberation at PSL National, is what is their X handle. The group had rented the buses. Then I went to the address for the at Answer Coalition that had gotten the protest permit. It was in Adams Morgan on Florida Avenue Northwest, not far from where I had lived as a 20 something in DC. Outside, there were two flags flapping in the wind. Whose flags are they? I asked the woman who answered the door. Cuba and Venezuela. That's when I knew this wasn't about peace or anti war. It was about ideology. Stoking discord was part of that ideology as a tactic called agitation propaganda or agitprop. Their goal was to overthrow overthrow the American empire and install some version of Marxist, communist, or socialist system. Oh, is there a flag? Yes, there is. Is that going to be pass interference? Oh, sorry. Again, yep, pass interference on the defense. Steelers get the ball at the 1 yard line. It was in the end zone. Okay, and where was I? Oh, yeah, agitation propaganda or agitprop. Their goal was to overthrow American empire and install some version of Marxist, communist, or social system. Talk about regime change. And I learned something else. They had very close ties to Iran, Russia, and China, with its leaders taking regular trips to those countries. They wanted communism or socialism in South Korea, the Philippines, Puerto Rico, and America. Puerto Rico technically is part of the United States, so does it have to be listed by itself? I saw them again in Chicago protesting at DNC, the Democratic National Convention. We had cells of proud communist, socialists, and Marxists in America, and they were appropriating the latest cause of the day to press their cause to dismantle American imperialism. Why am I talking funny? And halftime. Steelers do not score before the half. What the hell were they thinking? What the fuck are you doing? Oh. Yeah, I saw that. That was stupid. At least take the 3 points. Oh, this is why Mike Tomlin needs fired. Where was I? They were self-declared, self-professed, and proud of their ideological beliefs, but the media usually glossed over them to describe them generically, not genetically, God, as demonstrators. So when we learned that there was an airstrike on Caracas, I watched the clock and waited for the signals. By the way, all times are Eastern times. 1:35 a.m. A U.S. Special Operations reportedly landed in Venezuela. At BT News, a socialist propaganda arm of the Answer Coalition, posts early video and frames the mission as an illegal bombing of Caracas. The narrative is set. 1:45 a.m. Manolo de los Santos of People's Forum, New York City, echoes the illegal bombing line. Message discipline is established. The People's Forum had been funded by a tech tycoon named Neville Roy Singham, who lived in Shanghai and funded a global network of socialist causes. 2:29 a.m. The Answer Coalition drops a red siren graphic on X calling for protest in Times Square. No war on Venezuela. The shift from commentary to mobilization begins. 2:34 to 2:43. The People's Forum and the Party for Socialism and Liberation amplified a call. Same poster, same language, same timing. 3:21 a.m. Vijay Prashad, director of Tricontinental Institute for Social Research, a research institute funded by Singham that examines issues through the lens of national liberation Marxism, weighs in with a tweet. Down with U.S. imperialism. The ideological framing goes global. Excuse me a second. 6:09 a.m. Code Pink condemns the U.S. as terrorist. The group was co-founded by Singham's wife, Jody Evans, a fixture in anti-American protests, along with co-founder Medea Benjamin. Professional Code Pink protester Olivia DeNucci frequently yells at Trump administration officials around town. The nonprofit ecosystem is now fully engaged. 7:49 a.m. The International People's Assembly, a global umbrella group for socialist and communist organizations that partners with Singham's Tricontinental Institute, circulates an emergency day of action urging resistance to U.S. hegemony. The command and control layer activates. This wasn't outrage catching fire. This was a socialist, communist, Marxist, transnational network executing information warfare with military precision. By daylight, the narrative was locked. By midday, the protests were live. By afternoon, politicians like Rashida Tlaib, AOC, and Zohan Mamdani were repeating the same lines I'd seen first pushed in the dead of night. I'd seen the signals broadcast for years through investigators like Data Republican and Stu Smith. Have followed the breadcrumbs on this vast network seeking to dismantle the U.S. free enterprise system in the name of anti-imperialism. And I encourage you to follow them to see well-documented information. But yeah, there's their handles right there. If you want to know who to go follow, at Data Republican and at Stu Studio. Guy must be a Phil Collins fan. Friday night, they came in strong and precise in a parallel military operation run by comrades in the cause to destroy America as we know it. This wasn't just about Venezuela. It was about a global war, an information war running parallel to the kinetic one. And what I learned next was that it had been years in the making. So here's the video she was talking about watching. But we're not. I guess we could watch the video. You guys want to watch the video? Let's watch the video. Let me start it over here and turn the volume on.
Out the call for well, Eugene, a few of us stayed up all night last night once we heard the news, conferring with each other, conferring with other organizers. And by 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning, we put out the call for demonstrations to happen today, Saturday, January 3rd, less than 12 hours after the bombing and kidnapping of the president of Venezuela. You have tens of thousands of people. I think we're in a watershed moment, epic moment. We should just be raging. We should be angry. We should be in the streets. It's a class war. It's a global war. It's an anti-imperialist war. More than 100 cities on less than 12 hours notice. That's a harbinger of what's coming. We had a demonstration in Washington, and the 50-51 folks were having a demonstration time for the same day. And as a lot of the 50-51 people came past our protest site, and it was against the genocide in Gaza, people stopped for a second and they said, oh no, this isn't our demonstration. We're going to the other one. And off they went. Today, in the early morning of January 3rd, hours after the Answer Coalition and others called these demonstrations today, 50-51 immediately wanted to collaborate. They were saying, we want to co-host this today. The reason the demonstrations went from like 60 at 10 o'clock this morning to like 100 by 11:30 was because of the entrance of these other organizations that have been struggling against Trump, but on more or less on domestic issues. So it's really very, very promising.
With us once again on the show, Manolo de los Santos.
Yeah. The usual suspects, in other words. The ones that are always protesting against Trump and other deals. I don't want to play the whole thing because I don't want to take the risk of getting copyright. But yeah, you get the idea. Paid protesters, exactly, Denny. Exactly what they are. Paid protesters. Anyway, article continues in the next post. TikTok, the pro-Maduro support wasn't born overnight. Here's the paper trail between these U.S. organizers and Maduro's Venezuela. Thank you to all the researchers who helped me connect the dots. 2003, Hugo Chavez and Fidel Castro backed the Francisco de Miranda Front, a socialist organization that became a part of the Global International People's Assembly, creating the backbone of an international solidarity apparatus designed to defend the socialist Bolivarian, named for Simon Bolivar, project abroad and forge alliances with U.S. groups. 2013, Nicolas Maduro takes power. The solidarity infrastructure is already in place. 2019, as Maduro faces international pressure, the People's Forum, Manolo de los Santos organizes a pro-Maduro protest outside Venezuela's consulate in New York City, physically blocking opposition figures from entering. 2019, Party for Socialism and Liberation leader Claudia de la Cruz travels to Caracas for an International People's Assembly conference, urging socialists worldwide to collectivize the anti-imperialist fight and promotes the message with hashtag hands off Venezuela. 2019, the People's Forum hosts Venezuela Foreign Minister Jorge Arreaza in New York City. He demands an end to the U.S. sanctions. He urges the audience to protest U.S. actions with the help of the People's Forum. 2019, after a failed coup attempt, that's where you see the protesters being ran over by Venezuelan military vehicles that I was talking about earlier. De Los Santos appears on Venezuela's state TV, boasting of organizing U.S. religious leaders to battle ideas against U.S. imperialist aggression. 2021, the Sangam Network's Vijay Prashant and De Los Santos pose with Maduro on election day. Public endorsement. They all pose with thumbs up for sovereignty against imperialism. 2021, still. De Los Santos speaks at a Caracas conference live streamed on Maduro's own account, holding a manifesto titled Plan to Save Humanity. I'm assuming his X account, since this is on X. 2022, De Los Santos returns to Caracas for the International Anti-Fascist Summit, reinforcing operation coordination with these global organizations. Yeah, ignore the fact that you have leftist socialists who could be considered fascist in their behaviors hosting an anti-fascism conference. It's as bad as the UN putting Iran on the uh, Committee for Human Rights. 2022, De Los Santos returns to Caracas for the International Anti-Fascist Summit, reinforcing. Okay, yeah, I already read that one. Yeah. Okay. 2023 to 2024. The same network repeatedly mobilizes hands off Venezuela protests in the U.S., while Venezuelan flags increasingly appear at unrelated causes, from anti-police protests to anti-Israel rallies. Remember, this is under the Biden administration after a bounty was placed on Maduro. April 2024, Maduro publicly recognizes De Los Santos at a Bolivarian Alliance conference. Fall 2025, these same players lead coordinated U.S. protests again erupt in support of Maduro. Now, these players led coordinated U.S. protests again. Yeah, you get the idea. January 3rd, 2026, U.S. military forces capture Maduro within minutes. The same network activates with graphics, slogans, protests like a switch flipped on. This wasn't solidarity. It was a large running relationship, tested, rehearsed, and ready. And there's the picture she was talking about where they were posing with Maduro. And there's that guy over there. So, yeah. So, yeah, this was a coordinated event. And if you look at their signs, they're all holding the same signs, printed out exactly the same. Same wording, same typeface, everything, including the little thing at the bottom saying who it was they got them from. And as she said in her above article, you also see they're all wearing the same red socialist T-shirt. Leftist, communist, and socialist. Yep, it's all there. Well, yeah. I mean, calling leftist, communist, and socialist is redundant because all you got to do is say leftist because communists and socialists are leftist. So you just call them leftists collectively. And communism is the most severe form of socialism. So if you look at the countries that have been the most oppressive under socialism that are still around, basically, they started out as communists and became oppressive dictatorships. I mean, if you wanted to, you probably could call Venezuela a fascist country, except for Maduro did nationalize the oil industry and everything, which is more of a communist play than a fascist play. Communism, the government owns the companies. Fascism, you can own the company, but you got to make what the government tells you to. That's the main basic difference. And fascist countries tend to be more nationalist and want to stay within and get what they think is theirs back, whereas communism wants to spread all over the place. So it's the primary difference. Even though, with that said, you did have Mussolini's fascist Italy invade parts of Africa, but they were parts of Africa that they saw as being theirs because they were their colonies. So there's that. Or their enemy's colony. Theirs or their enemy's colony during the war. So, yeah. But anyway, we're not this. If I had somebody else in here to talk to, we could get into World War II history with that stuff, but not right now. Anyway, yeah, this whole thing, the left, the protests and everything, they're trying to the left, of course, is trying to spin it all as being organic and grassroots protests and all this. It's not. It's just like all their other protests. It's all paid agitators that are involved. Paid leftist, socialist, whatever you want to call it, communist, fascist, whatever tag you want to put on them. That's what they are. They're paid agitators. People always saying, "Don't these people have jobs?" The protest is their job. It's what they do. I have met college students who go to school during the week and on weekends are getting paid to go out and protest. I've I've met college students who are going out and protesting just because it's a paycheck. They don't actually believe in what they're protesting. I know it sounds crazy, right? But it's true. There was one girl I talked to that was here in town when they had when this Roe v. Wade decision, the reversal came down, and West Virginia's anti-abortion law went back into effect, and they were protesting. One girl I talked to, she didn't believe in abortion. She was just out there protesting for him because he gave her they were paying her to. She needed the money. So, I mean, not even all the protesters you see out there believe in what they're protesting. Joined by Mr. Gizzard Gary on the panel. How are you doing tonight?
What are we protesting?
Well, we're not protesting anything, but you got a bunch of leftists protesting Maduro being arrested.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Are you across the room from your microphone or something?
Let's try it now. Well, hold on.
You're like echoing and quiet. Not echoing as in it's like an echo in your headphones. Like the room is echoing, if you know what I mean.
How about now?
That's better.
Yeah, for some reason I told it to use my AirPods when I came in, but then it switched over to my other mic again. So Rumble Studios got its own mind. But yeah, I saw that crap and it just kind of strikes me as odd. They didn't have any problem with Obama going in and taking out Osama bin Laden. That was
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Or the airstrikes against Libya.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Remember, that was all done under the War Powers Resolution Act, too.
Yeah, but that's Ronnie Reagan. So.
Yeah, Grenada was under that. There've been a lot of military actions that were done over the years by various presidents under the War Powers Act.
Oh, but it wasn't authorized by Congress. Sure, let's just give it away that we're going to do this and have about 2 or 3 weeks lead time while we try to get Congress to approve it. That's a great idea. Sure.
Mm-hmm. And they don't have
Sometimes
to.
you
Yeah,
got to take immediate action sometimes.
yeah, and they don't have to notify Congress. They have 48 hours after the fact that they have to notify them within, and then they can operate. They can still operate 30 days without congressional approval. So you got all these Congress critters and senators on the left protesting this, saying, "Oh, you didn't get our approval," blah, blah. And then you got Thomas Massey, who nominally is Republican anymore, saying the same crap.
Well, just realize it's following their narrative. It has to. They're going to adjust the facts to suit their narrative.
Mhm. One of the best ones I saw was a bunch of anonymous JAG officers who posted that it was a war crime under the Geneva Convention.
I heard that China has demanded that we return him back to
Yeah,
Venezuela.
yeah, of course they are. You know why? He's their door into South America. He had a big agreement with them, and they were going to be able to use Venezuelan ports and stuff to start moving their people into South America. So, yeah, of course, China wants them back. Cuba is threatening us that they're going to make us regret this. Like, okay, what the hell's Cuba going to do? Yeah. I mean, it's funny when a country the size of Long Island decides it wants to threaten you.
Hmm.
When a large portion of their island is a large U.S. naval base. Can't make this shit up. You really can't. Rob's asking, can he get paid to protest warring labels? Uh, maybe if you know who to contact. Then he says he's their puppet, Cuba, and Cuba can't feed its own people. Yeah. Remember, Maduro kept pushing Trump's buttons, telling him, yeah, come get me, come get me. Well, be careful what you ask for.
Hmm.
Now, if the guy over there in Cuba is going to be doing the same kind of shit, I would look at what that just happened in Venezuela and shut up. He
Well,
might be next.
has anybody paid any attention in the last few years about what the people of Venezuela have been through? Virtually nothing to eat.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. X has been flooded with Venezuelans today. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but there are a lot of Venezuelans that have been on X today talking about what they've been going through.
Yeah, I saw that. I think it was Gabby Franco put out a post today thanking President Trump for freeing the
Yeah,
Venezuelan people.
she's from there, isn't she?
Hmm.
Um, oh, the actress that was in The Running Man. What the hell's her name? The original Running Man, not the stupid remake. Can't remember her damn name right now, but she's from there. She was Miss Venezuela at one point. That's how she got into acting. Maria something Alonso or something like that. Anyway, can't remember. Can't remember for sure. But yeah, she was from there. She had been talking about the whole everything that's been going on with Venezuela since back when Chavez took power. And how the country had gone downhill. She'd been talking about that for years. For a while there, she was on Fox News almost 2, maybe 3 times a week talking about it. On like the O'Reilly Factor or Hannity or one of those programs.
Mm-hmm. Steelers are down on 1.
Yeah, I can see. I got a big 75-inch TV right there to my left.
I got a little 10-inch iPad on the table next to me.
Yeah. Do this very quickly so I don't get hit with a copyright, but yeah.
You didn't do that. No.
It was, hey, free use. It was for commentary purposes.
He didn't make it. It's going to be
No.
4th down. Ooh, are they going to
Again.
go?
Are they going to go for it again? God.
You have to.
Take the 3 points.
No.
It's third quarter. Take the 3.
You want to go to the playoffs, Rich?
Yeah, that's why you take the 3. Remember what happened at the end of the first half?
Let's see if they make a decent play call this time.
And they missed the 4th down earlier.
From the shotgun? Oh, what the hell?
Yeah, I know. This is stupid ass play calling.
I think he got it.
He got it, but still dumb.
That's what I would have done last time. Go straight up the middle with it.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have done it out of the shotgun. Oh, okay. I see what they were running.
Yeah,
Wildcat.
but Rogers didn't take the snap. It was fake.
He didn't. Rogers didn't take the snap and went right.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Okay. Yeah, it's Wildcat. That's why. Oh, damn. That's going to hurt their defense.
Ooh, hurry up. Ooh, Rogers on his own. And is he in? No signal.
Yes.
Yes.
Just with the signal. All right. Anyway, sorry.
Now you kick the PAT here. You go for the tie. Yeah. Oh, shit, there's a flag. Uh-oh.
Denny says we're a few seconds behind him. Offside, touchdown stands. Yeah, I'm watching it on Peacock.
Yeah, well, NBC affiliate here, but
yeah. Then he's probably got their local NBC affiliate if he says I'm behind him by a few seconds. But,
yeah, they were offside.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he lined up offside by a lot. Anyway.
I can't believe Rogers took it on a keeper. Jeez.
Yeah, he's got it on YouTube TV. Okay.
Me too. It's the only way to watch. Better than watching my Chiefs today.
I got it on Peacock and I'm not paying for it, so Peacock free with our cable plan. Internet.
Okay.
Yep. Anyway. But yeah, that's what's going on with the Venezuela thing. What makes it even better is you got Zohan Mabdani, mayor of New York City, who said if Netanyahu ever comes to New York City, he's going to arrest him.
Who? Gonna arrest who?
Netanyahu. Yeah. The Prime Minister of Israel. He's going to arrest him for war crimes.
Bet he doesn't.
Uh-huh. Yeah. He said he's going to arrest him for war crimes in relation to the
Let's see how
quote
fast we can
unquote
have troops in New
Palestinian.
York City.
Yeah. There's one problem with that. He doesn't have the authority to.
It won't take long. We got military bases pretty close to New York City.
Mm. Anyway, he's one of the ones that's throwing a fit about the whole Maduro thing.
We could send him to Venezuela. I'd be okay with that.
Well, you know why he's throwing a fit about it? He's a supporter of Hamas, and Hamas and Hezbollah are aligned with Maduro too.
Of course they are.
Mm-hmm. And
These
of
are all
course, they
despicable
both
people.
yes, and they both put out statements saying that he needs to be released immediately as well. And so has
Yes.
Iran because he's aligned with them too.
Yes, I said that out loud. Deal with it.
I've been saying it. You're finally catching on. Yay! No. Yeah, I've been calling them out.
I don't think you haven't been saying anything that most of us are thinking. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say you speak for everyone, but
No, but I was joking anyway. I know damn well you don't support what they're doing. We've talked about it off air before.
neither do your cats. I can hear them having a fit
No,
too. So
no. He
that's right.
yeah. You let him hear it, Snowball. Oh, he left before I could get my camera turned on. He was sitting right there for a minute. We're the ones sleeping.
Can still hear them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's got a big mouth. His name is because at first we thought he was a girl because of how furry he is. He's long hair, and you couldn't see if he was male or female. So Amy just assumed that he was female. So he got the name Snowball because he's a white, fluffy cat. And by that point, it had just stuck. So he's a boy cat with a name that would be more traditional for a girl cat. If anybody is wondering how that worked. Anyway, what else?
I need a bigger iPad.
I was
That or I need
pricing.
a that or I need a TV in here in the
Yeah,
office.
I was pricing the MacBooks to see what the prices on those were.
Hmm.
I can't afford one if I wanted to buy one.
If you want to get one worth having, I mean, you can get the Airs cheap enough sometimes, but
Yeah,
once you price
that's
the amount of memory you're going to need and
yeah,
hard drive space and everything else, so.
yeah. Best Buy has the base Air for like $7.99, and it would be a complete
You
waste
don't want the
of time.
base Air.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It would be a complete waste of time. It's not even a $7.99 computer, to be perfectly honest with you.
I mean,
The
you
one,
don't need what I have because I've got a fairly high spec'd out Pro, but that's for video editing. You don't do that much of that, so
no, but I wanted something I could use for a mobile editing rig when on the road. And my
well, the
2-in-1 is a decent computer, but I don't know how well it's going to do a video editing. I mean, it's got a good CPU in it with with pretty decent onboard graphics. I don't know how well it's going to work as an editing machine.
mine on sale was 1,500, as I recall. So
Yeah, the ones I was looking at were like
going to be in the 2 grand
seven,
range.
17, 18,
Yes.
$2,000 range.
Yep.
I can get a comparable gaming PC on Windows for $500 less, which isn't going to be as good as fast at video editing as what the MacBook would be. But I cannot afford to buy the MacBook at all.
You could get a refurbished one or one that's even a couple. I mean, mine's 3 or 4 years old now. You'd probably get one of those. Oh, is that an interception?
It's either an interception or a fumble recovery. Hackrat's asking, is that the one that destroyed your Christmas tree? No. Then he says interception. Yeah, I wasn't looking at the screen, so
Look at the towels.
Of course. They're in Pittsburgh.
Yes, I know. That explains the Pittsburgh in the end zone.
Yeah. Well, no, they painted that in Baltimore just to mock them. No. I wouldn't put
And
it
put the
past them.
Steelers logo at the 50-yard line? I don't think so.
Yeah. Hey, you never know. It's Baltimore. They do stupid shit all the time there. TJ Watt, first game back, it's an interception. Speaking of interceptions, did you see the stat that the Jets put up as being the first team to do today?
First team to go all year without an interception.
Yep. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
They didn't intercept a single pass all season.
Well, did anybody have to pass against them? I guess is my question. Were they so bad that everybody could just keep the ball on the ground?
No, Steelers were throwing the ball on them in the first game. And Carolina gets the distinction of going into the playoffs with a losing record.
Not the first, but the first in a while.
Mm-hmm. I think they've all been out of the NFC South.
Yes.
I don't know. Oh, maybe not. Did the Cardinals make it into the playoffs one year with a losing record?
I don't remember.
I don't either.
Could look
I
it
know
up.
most of them, I believe, have been out of the NFC South.
Okay, so see the 2010 Seahawks, the 2014 Panthers, 2020 Washington football team back then, and the 2022 Buccaneers. Let's see, also the 82 Lions and Browns. Wow, that's a strike shortened season though.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Only the 2010 Seahawks and 2014 Panthers managed to win a playoff game with a sub 500 record.
Then he just posted the stats out there on the New York Jets defense. Opposing passers had a rating, he said, of either 111 or 118 against them.
Yeah, I would throw out the 82 season because they only played 9 games that year because of the strike.
Jets gave up 3,500 yards and 38 touchdowns with 0 interceptions. Yeah, bad defense.
I remember 1982 because I had season tickets to the Chiefs that year. Lost a bunch of home games as a result of that. Never got them back after that. I was so mad.
Yeah, that should have been refunded. Partial refund for the game.
Well, I think what they did is they offered to sell us season tickets for the next year at a reduced price.
Well, they should have just rolled those tickets over to the next season. If they weren't going to refund, they should have rolled them over to the next season. That's what the NHL did. If you had season tickets in the strike shortened season back in 2004, your tickets rolled over to the next season because it wasn't any fault of your own.
And after the strike was resolved, there was one home game at the end of the season. It was against the Jets. We weren't going to the playoffs, and the weather was absolutely horrible, rainy and cold, and I didn't even go. It's like, nope, I don't care. I'll eat this ticket. Unlike some of these people in Kansas City who insist that They love to sit out in the cold. And I don't really care for being miserable.
Yeah. Denny says Falcons fired Raheem Morris. In pregame for this game, they were talking about a rumored mill saying that Mike Tomlin may be resigning after this season and going into television, which would be interesting.
They're not sure if John Harbaugh's even going to be retained.
Yeah, they're not sure that this game. What they were saying, this game could determine that. That the owner of the team will make a decision after this game.
Well, I watched the Chiefs and the Raiders this afternoon. A truly horrible football game, if there ever was one. The Raiders had no reason to win or lose. They had the number one draft pick either way. Steelers take the
Only
lead.
because the Giants were stupid and for some reason decided they were going to blow them out. That was like the New York Jets or Giants. You're in contention for the number one overall pick. You have no chance of making the playoffs. Why the hell are you going out there and blowing out your opponent like you did?
How about Philadelphia? They had a chance to move up from number 3 to number 2 if they had won today. They rested all of their veterans. They didn't even try.
Maybe they thought they could
Took
be
a lot of
like,
heat over that, too.
yeah, maybe they thought they could be like Houston and rest players and win. I mean, it worked for Houston.
Texans won today.
Yeah. Which whoever wins this game plays next weekend. Which doesn't bode well.
Yeah, the
Steelers are-
Raiders may be letting Pete Carroll go too. Oh, he's like 75 years old.
Mhm.
They could hire John Harbaugh.
Yeah.
That'd be an upgrade, significant upgrade.
It'll be funny. Mike Tomlin does retire, and then Harbaugh gets fired, and the Steelers hire Harbaugh. Somebody in the pre-show said that. that could conceivably happen or be possible to happen. Is that really going to happen, though? You think Harbaugh would go from Baltimore to Pittsburgh?
It's not that far of a distance.
No, it's not. But for being the coach of the opposing team in division rival and all that,
He wouldn't even have to learn their system. I'm sure he knows it.
mm-hmm. Can you imagine the reaction of fans in Baltimore if that were to happen? I'm sure they would be just so happy about that. Denny said maybe they felt like they needed to let their team recover to be healthy. Yeah, they did have some injuries. The Eagles did have some injuries, so it's entirely possible. They had guys that were the walking wounded, if you will. The Steelers could have did that this week if they'd have just beat Cleveland last week. And believe me, there's guys on the team that could have used the week of rest before going into the playoffs.
Anyway, the Chiefs and Raiders was completely a field goal battle. It was decided by a safety. That's the only difference in the game.
Wow.
It was horrible. I wish they would have just tied so neither team would have won because nobody deserved to win that game.
For some reason, they decided to show a alpine skier. I guess because the Olympics are this year, right? The winter?
Yes, pretty soon.
Yeah, February.
Question is, will they have the ice hockey venue ready or not? Supposedly, there's some question as to whether or not it'll be ready. Because they drug their feet in Italy.
They're in Italy?
Yeah.
They could always go. It's not unusual for Olympic Games in Europe to have venues in other countries. They could always
They're
put
in Milan, Italy.
they could always put the hockey events up in the Czech Republic or something if it comes down to it. They have hockey arenas there that are
Well, the problem
dedicated
is,
to
see, the NHL decided to let their players play this year,
Mm-hmm.
but they have the final approval over the ice, and if the ice isn't ready, they'll pull their permission for them to play because they don't want their players hurt.
Yeah, no kidding. It happened the last time somebody got hurt. That's why they didn't let him play the last Olympics because of the injury factor. I forget who it was. There was a big name player for one of the teams that got injured playing in the Olympics, and that was the NHL was like, nope, we ain't doing this again.
Then he's talking about Shadur Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Overhyped. Dion's boy.
Yeah, it's the only reason why he's got the
Mm-hmm.
position he has is because he's Deion Sanders' son, and Deion
Yeah.
Sanders is a one-man publicity
It's
company.
the same kid who swore up and down he was going to be the number one pick in the draft last
Uh-huh.
year.
What dropped what to the fourth round?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. His brother was so good he got cut by the Buccaneers. Remember, Deion had two sons that were rookies this year. One was a defensive back for the Buccaneers, and he got cut because he couldn't hack it. Deion was saying they were both going to be Rookie of the Year contenders before at the beginning of the season and stuff. Yeah, right. Neither one of them are. You meowing about? Get away from the tree, dummy. God dang. Yeah, Cleveland talking about how Shadir Sanders finished strong. Yeah, he played against the Steelers team last week that had a depleted secondary. Only one starter in the secondary played last week against Cleveland. The other three were all injured. Both corners and one of the safeties were out of the game last week. So of course he had an easier time with the Steelers defense throwing the ball. And he still threw two interceptions. So yeah. Cleveland didn't win last week because Shadir Sanders had a good game. Cleveland won last week because there was terrible play calling on the Steelers' part in that game. 4th and long, you run the ball. Who does that? Fourth down. I never got the point of throwing a pass short of the line to gain on 3rd down.
Not that far short. It was a good 10 yards short.
Yeah, I never got the point of that.
I'm guessing it was probably a second or third option because nobody else was open.
Still, you still send them deeper than that. All you're doing is getting a couple of yards at that point. You're not going to get the first down because the defense is going to play to keep everything in front of them, which is
Okay,
exactly what happened.
Now, if you're the Steelers, you want to get a few first downs and establish some ball control. Run the clock down.
Yeah, you got to run the ball to do that.
Gotta give the ball to Franco. Oh, that's right. He isn't playing anymore.
He'd be a skeleton if he were playing. Yeah, they either got to run the ball or you go to the short passing game, which is something that they've been doing all season anyway. Yeah, nickel and
Well, what
dime
was
your way down
great
the
back in
field.
the glory days is when they had Rocky Bleier in the backfield along with Franco, because everybody'd key on Franco and then Rocky just run all over the place.
Mm-hmm. And he was a good pass catcher too out of the backfield.
And if he could stop them two, then he had a whole bunch of wide receivers to throw to. So yeah, it was tough
Two of
beating
them
the
in
Steelers.
the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, almost that whole entire team is in the Hall of Fame.
They should be.
Mm-hmm.
They were unstoppable back in the day.
The only thing that stopped them was injury.
And oh yeah, they had the league's best defense too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, their defense was so good even when they were without Bradshaw because of injury. They still made the playoffs. So yeah. Yeah, Denny says when the bus was running back, you better have 3 or 4 people to tackle him. Yeah, it sucks that Washington's hurt because he could dominate the game. 300-pound tight end with pass catching ability and running speed. He's the one that during the games they always say people are afraid to tackle him. Yeah, I'd be afraid to try and tackle him too. I'd be afraid he'd fall on me. He's an offensive lineman playing freaking tight end. And the worst part is, he's still learning the position. And then he says Washington and Warren coming around the end makes for a big game. Yeah. And then they got that sixth lineman they put in as an eligible receiver. That guy's got hands too. He's caught a couple of passes this year, one for a touchdown. Ironhead Hayward's boys. Cam and Colin. Guess there's something about having to have a first name that starts with C in that family because Ironhead's name was Craig.
First
Speaking of
down.
Hall of Famers, Craig Ironhead Hayward. Hall of Fame fullback for the Chicago Bears. I believe he played for the Saints at one point too. He went to Pitt. And his sons play for the Steelers. Then he says you can see there are some players with big potential down the road, but they need to draft the quarterback. Yes, they need a quarterback. They can't keep going with these cast-offs. Aaron Rodgers, as great as he is at this point, he is a cast-off from the New York Jets of all teams.
He's a physical liability.
Mm. Well, they're saying this is going to probably be his last season. He only signed a 1-year deal with the Steelers. It was an all or nothing proposition this year, essentially. Then he says the Cowboys have an offense and two real running backs will be back next year, but the defense needs work and they need a defensive coordinator. That's the same thing with Cincinnati. If you look at Cincinnati, they got a good offense. Their defense absolutely sucks.
The Chiefs were so beat up at the end of the year.
Yeah, they got bit by the injury bug this year.
Half their offensive line was out.
Both starting and backup quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chiefs were
They
snaky.
actually started their practice quarterback today. Practice squad quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Then
He
he
did
said,
all
I
right.
bet they offer Rodgers another 1 year deal. They don't have alternatives. Well, even if they draft a quarterback, if Tomlin's the coach, I don't think it's going to amount to anything because the guy can't develop a quarterback. They've had how many quarterbacks that they've drafted since Roethlisberger, before Roethlisberger retired, so that they could even develop a replacement for him. And where are they all at now? Only one's on the team, and that's because he came back this year to be Rodgers' backup. Then he says he bets Kelsey retires. That's a possibility.
He really doesn't have a whole lot to prove.
You know, the writing was on the wall when his brother retired that his career wasn't going to be too much longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ooh, offensive pass interference.
There's been a lot of that lately.
Rogers is pissed. Let's see it. Here's the replay.
Let's see what happens.
Oh, it's a pick. Yep, it's a pick. Call those every time anymore.
Yeah, but that wasn't. Both guys were just standing there. I don't know if that's so much as a pick or the defender just being a dumbass.
Third and 8. What's the play call?
Well, probably a run play because they do stupid shit like that all the time. And this is a team that had 4th and long and they ran the ball.
Over the middle. Over the middle.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is. You'll say they've been going to the sideline routes. It's time to throw one over the middle.
They hardly ever throw over the middle. That's one of the problems. Yeah, Peacock is definitely behind.
He just barely caught that. He got lucky on that one.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Mm-hmm. Going long. Oh, that was risky.
Yeah. And the defender's hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Or
He threw that way short.
couldn't tell if he was hurt or just upset. He didn't get the ball. forget who it was last week. They went for an interception, missed it, and injured themselves in the process.
Okay, so you wasted one. What do you do here? You got to get at least 5 yards. There you go. There you go. Well, it's not quite 5, but it's a gain. And they're doing just exactly what I said.
Yeah. They need to use Gainwell more out of the backfield, too. He's a hell of a pass catcher out of the backfield.
Well, he's got the perfect name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got a football name right there, Gainwell.
Mm-hmm.
He gains well. Gains yardage well. The Steelers lead the league in yards after the catch because they always throw those short passes and run the ball afterwards. Basically, extended handoffs.
You better get out of there. Yep, they got you. Was he hurt? Oh, shit.
He was hit from behind.
Old man slow to get up.
You could take a hit from behind like that, you'd probably be slow to get up too.
I ain't going out there at my age.
He got clocked from the blind side. Right there. He is popped. You're not going to go for it on 4th down again?
Oh. Catch interference, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that'll be my guess.
Surely he called for a fair catch.
Was there a flag for him?
Oh, his own player hit him.
Oh,
well, you can't advance it. You can just down it. Okay, it didn't touch him. He did make a signal, but yeah.
yeah, if his own player ran into him.
Yeah.
What is he doing? He ran right straight into him. There wasn't even a chance trying to avoid him. Oh,
that was funny.
Oh, dear Lord in heaven. What the hell?
That was funny.
Then he says 200-300-pounders land on you, cry too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would cry too if it happened to you. I mean, it's not a party, but still.
Oh, it's a party, all right, but not one you're going to enjoy.
No. Wonder how many people we've lost. Because we've watching the football.
I think Denny's out there for sure.
Yeah, Denny's out there. We got one on X and 2 over on Rumble.
Well, we've pretty much switched to football commentary anyway.
Yeah. I went through the topic I wanted to talk about, so might as well.
Hey, Rich's team is playing. Come on, man. They got to win this. It's winner take all here.
Yeah, they were calling it in the pre-show. It's NFC or AFC North championship game. Yeah. So yeah, right now it's commercial.
Mm-hmm. I don't have the sound on my TV anyway. So.
Yeah, I do. But just a reminder for those of you watching on YouTube and X, I'm not monetized on those platforms, but if you would like to contribute to the channel, you may do so by clicking on the link in the description for the PayPal account, which will take you right to PayPal. You can contribute wherever you wanted. Or you can go over to Rumble, and if you click on the $sign, you can basically send a super chat that way on Rumble's site.
Or you can
And
join locals if you have locals tied
I
into
have
it.
a locals, but I don't have it set up.
I set mine up. Nobody's ever done anything on it.
I could be streaming there too, because Rumble plugs into that because they own it or affiliated or something. Yeah, I could be streaming on 4 platforms, but I haven't got I got a locals account. I just haven't set anything up on it. I mainly got it because one of the YouTube channels I used to watch did stuff on locals too, but they stopped doing it.
Two Live Moo is out there.
Moo!
Moo's team won today.
Yeah, yeah. Denver won the conference. 2 14-3 teams coming out of the AFC. I don't know what,
Seattle's going to be pretty hard to beat.
huh?
Seattle's going to be pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, over in the NFC. Yeah. I don't know what the tiebreakers are anymore, but didn't Jacksonville beat Denver?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think they did. I think they beat up Denver, in fact, a couple weeks ago.
They beat us.
Yeah, well, they finished 14-3 as well. I thought for sure if they finished the same record as Denver, they would have got the number 1 seed.
It's a good team.
Oh, Jacksonville is going to be a hard out.
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville, Denver, and Houston are going to be hard teams to beat. Houston perhaps has the best defense in the league. They only gave up like 245 points or something like that all season. That's not a lot.
Oh.
Yeah, for a guy that was injured last week with a back injury, I don't know how smart that is to be doing.
It's all or nothing tonight, man. They're leaving it all out there.
Yeah, but if he goes and gets himself hurt this week, even if they win, they're fucked next week. You want to go out there and win, but you still got to play smart. Coming off back contusion, taking
Oh, you
hits.
let him go, for God's sake. Oh, no. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
They missed him in the backfield. They had him in his arms.
Yeah, they sure did.
No.
Yeah, Highsmith had him.
That's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to tackle.
He knows how to tackle. That's the thing. He had him. He had a clear shot at him. He missed. He missed because his own guy partially hit him. He got a hand on him to try and grab him. That was it. Full speed. He definitely looked like he should have had him. Hayward jumping, trying to block the pass is what I think what caused him not to be able to get him.
I'm wondering if that safety gave up on the play because they thought the quarterback was
That's
going
what I'm
down.
thinking too. Denny said the same thing. The defensive back quit. Yeah, probably thought he was tackled in the end zone, or not in the end zone, in the backfield. Sack.
Never give up on a play.
No. Boomstick's out there, evening boomstick. And Denny said he probably got his back all drugged up with painkillers. Yeah, but you still don't want to take too many hits like that.
Okay, I got my iPad a little closer to me.
What else is there to talk about? All the news has been about Maduro. I don't know what else. Anything else happened?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, did you see the drug bust they made in Indiana?
Uh-uh.
2 Indian in a semi were pulled over for routine DOT check by Indiana State Police. The trooper that pulled him over was also a canine unit, so he got his dog out. He had his dog out of the car, and the dog started. He wasn't even really doing. He was just going over the paperwork and everything, right? So wasn't even really doing anything with the dog. The dog was just out of the car to get out of the car, and the dog obviously smelled something because he started giving the the narcotics detected signal to the officer, which then gave him probable cause to search the truck. So searches the cab, gets into the sleep compartment, and finds over 300 pounds of cocaine in the truck. And the best part, California CDLs issued to 2 illegal aliens. So not only are Indians with illegally in the country with illegal CDLs crashing into people and killing people, they're now also running drugs. Ravens just get flagged for illegal kickoff. Is that what that was? I wasn't paying attention.
I wasn't either. I was looking at something else.
They must have because they got the ball at the 40.
Okay, don't get excited. You got plenty of time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Rogers is an expert at this kind of stuff. Yeah, Denny says yes. So, yeah, that's what happened. They got flagged for an illegal kickoff. Wow. Yeah, for those that are joining us late, this has basically turned into a football commentary chat. You missed the serious topic of what happened with Maduro this weekend. So if you want to see that, you have to go back and watch it later on replay. Yeah. Yeah, Packer said that's how they're paying the cartels for getting across the border. Wouldn't surprise me in the least. That's funny. It's always Indians. What's with the Indians sneaking into the country illegally and getting freaking CDLs? Is California handing them out as prizes in a box of Cracker Jack or what here? It's like, honestly, every time something's happened with one of these guys with these illegally issued CDLs, it's somebody from India. What's up with that? It's not just the ones from California. I think the guy that was no name listed was Indian. Remember that one from New York where no name given was the name on the license?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the dream of everybody in India to come to the United States and be a truck driver? I mean, a blue Freightliner. I don't know what year. It didn't say what year. It just said it was a blue Freightliner in the story I saw. Oh, yeah. Cartel reminds me Mexico's also throwing a fit because Maduro was arrested. Meanwhile, the guy in Ecuador is laughing his ass off about it. Damn. Baltimore loses another defensive player. Danny said it's an easy path to make money when California gives out CDLs for cheap. Plus, they sleep in the truck and have both bath and shower rather at truck stops. Yeah, and they're not making them learn English or anything. These guys can't even read the freaking streets, the road signs and whatnot. We've already discussed that before on the channel. Pull guys over and give them a children's book to see if they can read or not. If they can't read, they yank their CDL. So they can't even really be testing these guys. If they can't read road signs, how well are they testing them anyway? Play action. Throw it. Throw it. He had him open with nobody near him. He threw it to Fryermuth instead. Who was it? Hayward that was wide open right there?
Mm-hmm.
Should have tossed it to him as soon as he faked the handoff. He was wide open. And then he says, it's just a paper mill. And then he says, it also says it's against the law to not speak English when you have a CDO. It's against the law for California, federal law for California to be issuing CDLs to illegal aliens. Packer actually forgets who did the story about there being different colored wristbands for how much they owe the cartels. Wouldn't surprise me if that were true. Wouldn't surprise me in the least. Yeah, that was a false start. We were bragging up Gainwell earlier, and their dumbass goes and starts running before the ball snapped. And he knew it too.
Oh,
Fryermuth said he was going to have to step up today. I see it. Well, let me guess. A penalty on the play too? Oh no! Quick snap. No. It looked like they were going to go quick and then didn't. They would have caught him down a player if they would have. You don't have your deep threat, so you use a tight end as a deep threat. I guess it works.
mm-hmm.
And waiting. Then he said it gets better. So I got a yard out of it. Now would be a perfect time to do a play action pass to the tight end in the end zone. Especially if Washington were playing, that would be a perfect time to utilize him in that role. But they've ran it to Hayward before in this situation. And they've done it with Fryermuth in the past too. Oh, they tried it with Smith, but he wasn't deep enough. It was a tight end, and I don't think Rodgers is happy. He was yelling at the coordinator. I need a new helmet. What's going on? They called this what the hell? I guess because they took too much time because of him having to get a new helmet. I guess the speaker system in his helmet died. Makes you appreciate back when the guys didn't have the speakers in the helmets. Packer said there was a big bunch of CDLs yanked by other states and California reinstated. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Okay, he made up for the false start earlier. He gained well on that play.
Mm-hmm.
Go for 2. Make them have to score the touchdown. But then if they get a field goal, they can take the lead. Dilemma is when you're trying to make the playoffs. As fast as that guy was in the backfield, he wasn't offside. And like Denny said, now the defense has to stand up. Yep. If you got to give up points, give up a field goal. That way at least it's tied and you get the ball back and try to get a game-winning drive out of it. Do not let them score a touchdown. Yeah. They'd have kicked exactly, Denny. If they'd have kicked the field goals in the first half, they'd be up by 9 right now. Well, no, only one of those fourth down tries that they attempted were in field goal range. The other one wasn't in field goal range yet. They were just outside of field goal range. But the way kickers have been hitting field goals at long ranges this season, you never know. They probably could have tried a field goal from there. I mean, Boswell's already hit a 60-yarder this season. Okay, 57. All right. Boswell's more than capable of 57 yards. Like I said, he's already hit a 60 this year. His longest before that was a 57. So that's the way. Don't let him get any yards.
Keep that clock running.
Yep. Keep that clock running. But the one at halftime, that was a chip shot. Instead of going for the points, instead of taking the easy points, we're going to go for a touchdown and fail. And the one they should have kicked at halftime would have been closer than an extra point. It would have been closer than the old extra point. Yeah. Then they'd be up by 6, and Baltimore would have to go for the touchdown.
Oh, wow. Wide open.
Be quiet. I'm behind you guys. What the? Oh, that's not wide open. That's insanely open. That is stupid. Who the hell blew that coverage? And that's what they've been doing all freaking season, too. Oh, my God. That has been their MO all freaking season. It's what bit him in the ass last week against Cleveland. Oh, but there's a flag.
Yeah, defensive holding.
Uh, Justin Grimm's out there on the YouTube side. Evening to you, sir. Yeah, like I said, it's what bit him in the ass last week against Cleveland. That and not being able to get points off of turnovers last week. It's things like that that get really irritating with this team. But if they'd have kicked those 2 field goals, they'd still be in the lead.
I think I could have ran that in then, so.
Yeah, but you might not have been able to get that open. Look, who the hell's supposed to be covering him? God. Oh, again, they've been doing that
Yeah.
shit all season.
They completely botched the coverage back
Yeah,
there.
the safety fucked up. The safety or the linebacker, I couldn't tell which one it was. They completely screwed up. And 22 stopped running. He just gave up. Then he said there's enough time, but they can't make mistakes. Move down the field and score a touchdown. Yeah, Rodgers was brought in for this. Yeah, it's what he was good at. Roethlisberger was good at this kind of shit. If you go back and watch when Ben Roethlisberger was the quarterback, he was at his best whenever they were in hurry up. That's where he always put up his big numbers, was when he was playing hurry up. Problem is they don't have any timeouts left. So yeah, definitely cannot make any mistakes because they don't have any timeouts to make up for it if they do. Well, that's one way to do it. Get big yard. Keep doing that.
Oh no, Justin had a breakdown today. Not
Yeah,
good.
left work at 11, broke down. He didn't get home till 6 because of it. Damn, that sucks. He says, "Thank God it wasn't negative temps." Yeah, I mean, your area, your neck of the woods, that wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility this time of year. Especially with the winds you guys can get that wind chill going. Be right nasty. And then he said, "Yep." And Ben was big enough to take the hits and keep moving in the pocket. Rodgers can't do that anymore. No. What sucks is there's no 4-point play in football, so they have to get the touchdown. That will not stop the clock because he did not get out of bounds on his own merit. Back in the old days, that would have stopped the clock. They changed that rule.
Oh, go, 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 go.
This is what I've been saying they needed to do with Gainwell all game. Basically an extended handoff. It's what he's good at.
Oh, threw it out of bounds. Okay.
Gainwell should have ran that out of bounds. It would have saved some time. And would have opened up the playbook to where you could do more stuff. The guy's got to be mindful of the clock. You get a chance to get out of bounds after getting the first down, do it. Yeah, they probably could have got him for a holding call.
Oh, yes.
Touchdown, Gordon. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I haven't seen the play yet. Well, I guess turnabout's fair play because he was wide open.
See, I can see into the future about 3 seconds ahead of Rich. Now, did they leave too much time on the clock is the question.
Yeah, they got all 3 timeouts, too.
Yep.
Do you go for 2 and risk not getting the 2, but if you get it, making it where they have to go to length of the field? Nope, they're going to go for the 1.
They made it.
Oh, my God. That's not good. Now you can't even let him get a field goal. Oh, boy. This is nail baiting time right here. Man. Boswell never misses an extra point. What the hell? He didn't miss it by much either. God damn. Time for an interception or fumble recovery, Denny says. A pick 6 would be nice. Ain't had one of them in a while. Oh my God. You got to stop them, not let them get that good of a run back. God. No, you cannot let that happen, Denny. You're absolutely right. Good Lord. They conceivably only have to go 10, 15 yards and kick a field goal at this point.
They got 9 of it already.
Oh, Jesus. And they got out of bounds, too.
Mm-hmm.
Denny says make that 5 or 6. Yeah.
Up flag. Teacher. Left tackle wasn't up to the line of scrimmage.
Not, there's a big gap between the guard and center, too. I don't know if you saw that on the right side.
Get him!
Third down.
He should have just held on to that ball and ran it. He could have made a couple of yards. They
Yeah,
got
probably could have.
timeouts.
Yeah, they do. And they had 2 downs. They got 2 downs to use still. That would have
Oh,
been.
blitz. Oh, get him. Oh, come on, get him. Got him. Oh,
Should have had him right there.
in the old days, that would have been in the grasp. They don't do that anymore.
Well, they do, but his arm was free is the problem. So if his arm's not free, they'll blow it in the grasp.
4th down. What are they doing? Yeah, too far to kick.
Mm,
Yeah, it's a 66, 67-yard field goal. That's pretty long.
guys have been kicking long field goals this season.
It's
They're about 20
outdoors in the
out.
cold, though.
I love how the guys out there in the chat are telling me what's happening. 4th down. Yep, 4th down. 4th down and 7. Don't screw it up this time. Last 4th down, they gave up a touchdown because nobody decided to cover the goddamn receiver.
Okay, we got a blitz again. Oh. Oh, damn. You're not going to like this.
Probably not. Now they kick the field goal and the game's over. And now they're just going to run it to try and get the ball in better position on the field. Then they'll call timeout and they'll kick the field goal. And Tomlin will keep his job even though they just had another mediocre season. This is what happens when you don't kick the goddamn field goals and you go for it on fourth down when you don't need to.
Two seconds.
Mm-hmm. That's what you do. Yeah, that too. Kicker missed an extra point. The kicker who never misses an extra point missed an extra point. No.
He missed it.
Yeah, he sure did, didn't he? That's the game.
That's
Oh,
it.
God. It's Detroit all over again. Holy shit. Hey, Moo, now you're not the only one that had that happen to him this year against the Steelers. Oh, remember how the Detroit game ended? Detroit all over again.
Wow. What an ending.
I thought you were pulling my chain when you said he missed it. No, he missed. Fully wide right, Batman.
All right, Steelers, you pulled that out of your ass.
Yeah, like Denny says, can you believe it? Both kickers missed chip shots at the end of the game. Oh, I've seen it before in Heinz Field. There was a game last no year or two ago, maybe three. It might have been against Baltimore even. They were in overtime. They were the game was they were tied. Clock's running out. Both teams within the last minute get a chance to kick a game-winning field goal, and they both missed. They go into overtime. Both kickers missed two field goals in overtime before Boswell finally kicked one and won the game. So Heinz Field, it's not out of the question to miss a chip shot. It really isn't. And keep in mind, at that time when that happened, the two most accurate kickers in the league were Justin Tucker and Chris Boswell, and neither one of them could hit a field goal that day. Wow, he really pulled that right.
Yeah, it wasn't even close.
No. That guy was stunned, whoever that was. He like, look on his face. This is the second game this year that the Steelers have won because the opposing team bit themselves in the ass. Detroit's is probably a little bit worse because they would have had the touchdown if it wasn't for the offensive interference call.
Night, Danny.
Yep. Good night, Denny. Man. Now barbecue's really going to be mad because they actually made the playoffs. I don't know how good of a chance they got against Houston next week, though. That's going to be tough. That is going to be tough. My monitor is deciding to be stupid right now. Go to move it back into position and decides he wants to rotate down.
Whoa.
Idiot cats.
Will they break now?
Trying to break each other, apparently. Get. Damn. You done pissing off everybody, Snowball. Hell, he did, but you getting hissed at by two of them. Dumb cat. Let's see. Playoffs are set now. I want to see something in particular. Yeah, the Texans gave up 295 points. That's the fewest in the AFC by a decent amount. Over 10 fewer than the Broncos. Like 15, 16 less than the Broncos gave up. And they scored 3 more than the Broncos. But those are the two top defenses as far as points against are concerned in the AFC. Best in the NFC was the Seahawks at 292. So, yeah. Seahawks have a better points against than the Texans, but the Texans had the best defense in the AFC as far as points. So that's not going to be an easy game next week. Whereas the Steelers give up 387 on the course of the season. So, yeah. Comparing defense to offense, the Steelers scored 397. And like I said, the Texans only give up 295. I don't know what their chances are going to be next week.
I don't know.
And going by history, they haven't won a playoff game since Roethlisberger retired. Even before that, they haven't won a playoff game since 2017. Patriots and Denver both finish at 14-3, and Denver gets the bye. Jags were 13-4. Then you get the Steelers at 10-7. At the worst record of a division winner in the AFC rather. NFC is a different story because you got Carolina with a 8-9 record. If you don't hit at least 500, you have no business in the playoffs. I don't care if you won your division or not. You got teams with winning records that aren't going to be in the playoffs. If the Vikings or Lions were in the South, they'd be in the playoffs right now.
Mm-hmm.
They got to make a rule. You win your division or not, you got to at least hit 500 to be in the playoffs. Which you can still do because of getting a tie. The NFC South is so bad that you got 3 teams that were 8-9 in that division. The Falcons finished at 8-9 too. And they were on a 4-game winning streak. Eight and 9, and they get to host a game. It's even crazier. Sure, they're going to probably host a 12-5 team, 12-5 team. Because there's 2 12-5 teams out west that in the Rams and 49ers, so probably going to host one of them. Yeah, they're going to host one of them. So good luck, Carolina. Worst part is they backed into the playoffs because they're on a 2-game losing streak. The Buccaneers won today and they beat Carolina, if I remember right. I guess the prognosticators were wrong because they were saying that the Buccaneers beat Carolina this week, that the Bucs would be in the playoffs, not Carolina. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Moo answered a question for me out there. Yeah. Backrat wanted to know if I use Shippo. Yes, I do. Much cheaper.
I don't ship enough stuff. Where are the Bears playing? The Bears will probably play whichever team the Carolina doesn't play. Be my guess.
Let's see.
Or maybe the Eagles would.
Bears host the Packers in a wild card game
Okay.
next Saturday.
Oh, that'll be interesting. Divisional game.
Rams at Panthers. Bills at Jaguars. And 49ers at the Eagles.
Ooh, that'll be good.
And then you've got Chargers at Patriots, Texans at Steelers. So you got to deal with Houston Monday night.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Monday night? Wow.
Monday night. You'll probably miss my show.
No, I can have the game on the TV. I did it tonight. Yeah, at least they get an extra day. Google hasn't updated their bracket yet. Yeah, there, they just updated it. Monday, January 12th, 8:15. Time is it? It's only 11:30 or
10,
11:50.
10:50.
No, 11:50. Wow. Anything interesting on X?
No, not really.
Yeah, probably.
You're live, it shows.
Yeah. Woohoo! Yeah, I'm in the live on X segment. Woohoo!
He missed it is trending on X.
Kickers is also trending. Oh shit, Justin Tucker's trending. And Isaiah Likely, the guy that missed the kick, is also trending. That's what I'm seeing is trending. Or Tyler Loop is trending, rather. Tyler Loop, kickers, Justin Tucker, and Isaiah Likely, who was the one player who got hurt, I believe. Yeah, because Loop's the kicker. Yeah, Likely's the tight end. Okay, Likely's the one that made the catch that nobody was freaking covering him. That set up the field goal. He's trending because he caught the catch to set up the field goal attempt that they missed, which is why the kicker is trending. Oh, man. Somebody posted all the missed plays that the uh, Ravens had that cost them the season. 2017, he had a Tyler Boyd touchdown for Cincinnati. 2019, Derrick Henry fumbled. 2020, Lamar Jackson a pick six versus the Bills. 2022, Huntley goal line fumble. 2023, Zay Flowers fumble. 2024, Mark Andrews 2-point conversion dropped. And 2025, Tyler Loop missed field goal. And, yeah. Chris Boswell and Tyler Loop both missed kicks in the fourth quarter when the rest of the teams are doing well. Well, defenses weren't doing very well, but offenses were. Tyler Loop turned off his comments. Oh, good Lord. There is a clip that's on X right now. Before the game, a priest was blessing that end of the field before the game.
Yeah, I saw that.
He probably blessed both end zones because that's a tradition that the Rooney family's had forever, going back to the old man. That's not something new. Oh, Jesus. Somebody posted a meme of him that says worse than Hitler. God. Look at that. Worse than Hitler. He missed a field goal, people. Oh, Ozzy's out there. Says he's taking a holster to the post office tomorrow. Postage is unreal. Did he just now come in? Or was he out there early and just missed seeing him?
2 or 3 minutes ago, anyway.
Yeah. That's insane. Guy misses a field goal, they say he's worse than Hitler. This is why I said imagine if Harbaugh leaves Baltimore to go to Pittsburgh. Imagine the return he'll get in Baltimore every year.
Put Tyler Loop in the same cell as Diddy. Put a bottle of baby oil in there and turn off the cameras. Wow.
Oh, Jesus. Baltimore fans are ruthless, man.
I know.
The guy missed a field goal. Aaron Rodgers reacts to Tyler Loop missed kick. He went from being in retirement to running it back into the playoffs really quickly. They're saying Justin Tucker doesn't seem so bad after having to watch Tyler Loop shit the bed. Here's the thing. Justin Tucker missed 4 field goals against the Steelers last year. 4. And I think 2 extra points. So I don't think the comparison stands, especially since Baltimore beat them and won in the playoffs. So, I mean, Justin Tucker was not very good last year. That's why he doesn't have a job this year. And John Harbaugh is consoling the kicker as they're going into the locker room.
Yeah, I saw that too.
You gotta handle the kickers with kid gloves, man. They
Congratulations to Ravens kicker Tyler Loop, who will be getting married this offseason. He just met Miss Wright. Wow.
Aaron Rodgers says this. Aaron Rodgers watching Ravens final drive and Tyler Loop miss kick. It sucked. Oh, man. Even Aaron Rodgers feels bad for the kid. Remember, he's just a rookie. You know. Now here's somebody who's got a rational take on this. Absolutely gutted for Tyler Loop, who has been spectacular all season. A rookie kicker being asked to make a game-winning field goal on your rival's turf to keep your team's season alive is a level of situational pressure most of his haters will never experience. Somebody else posted, yikes, Ravens fans have already started to spam Tyler Loop's Instagram comments, wishing him the worst and hoping he gets divorced. Leave the kid alone. It's not that serious. This is a terrible look for Baltimore. Yep, completely agree. You got one person in his Instagram comments because posted a screenshot of the comments, basically wishing it is all his family and gets killed one by one. Fucking
I saw
assholes.
that.
Rookie kid misses a fucking field goal and they lose their shit. Yeah, people calling for him to be cut in more ways than one, apparently. Baltimore fans are disgusting. People need to grow the fuck up. If you're a Baltimore fan and you're watching this, you should be embarrassed by the way your fellow fans are acting. should be absolutely fucking embarrassed. You're acting totally disgraceful. Yes, I'm on Eastern Time, Pack Rat, in West Virginia. New York just raised the subway fee after promising it wouldn't. The New York Port Authority raised all their all the fares on buses and subway. Here's where Mom Donnie should have kept his damn mouth shut. He doesn't have the authority to raise or lower the prices on the buses or subway. That's up to the Port Authority, who is actually part of New York County, not New York City. He has no authority over that. He made an empty promise that morons fell for, which is usually what happens. So, yeah. But here's another thing. New Yorkers ain't going to care if he'll blame somebody else and they'll eat it up because that's what always happens.
Yep.
Why? Because as a group, New Yorkers are fucking stupid. If you're watching this and you live in New York City, too bad, because that's just how it is. And it's only going to get worse as far as your collective intelligence is concerned, because of all the foreigners who are now in your city and have taken it over. You look at who voted in the election for Mamdani, it's all people who have been in New York City for 5 years or less. And a majority of those, people from other countries. Get used to it. Christ, at this point, Eric Adams would have been a better choice to have reelected. That guy is at least sensible on some things. Right, on X, he was calling out all the idiots that were crying about not Mamdani, Maduro, the guy in Venezuela, Maduro, telling all the liberals bitching that they're a bunch of whiny crybabies, crying about somebody who they should be celebrating having been arrested. And he's right. He was absolutely right on that post. I liked it. I shared it because he was right. Of course, the same kind of people that are whining about Maduro are the ones that are saying that a rookie kicker should have his career ended by the team because he missed a field goal. Here we go. Here's what Eric Adams had to say on the issue. I will share this. Yep, I shared the wrong one. wrong X window. Oops. Or wrong X tab, I should say. Where's the... Which one is it? Yes, this one. Oh, shit. Where'd it go?
I didn't take it. I swear.
No, that's the wrong one.
Wasn't me.
Nope. I did it again. I shared the wrong one. That's the thing. X doesn't tell you exactly what it is. You gotta figure it out. No, that ain't it. That's YouTube. There we go. This one. Now I got the right one. Okay. Eric Adams said on January 10th, 2025, the Biden Harris administration put a $25 million bounty on Nicolas Maduro for information leading to his arrest or conviction. Public safety is not a political game. You do not label someone a narco dictator 1 year and then pretend he is no longer a threat the next simply because a different president is in office. That is cynical and irresponsible. Maduro's drugs have killed thousands of Americans and continue to endanger our children. Imagine being the parents of a 2-year-old Nicholas Felice Dominucci who died from fentanyl poisoning in a Brooklyn daycare and watching this political theater. America is safer today because Maduro is no longer in power. Welcome to New York, Nicholas. And who's he responding to with this post? Why, Kamala Harris, who was whining because they are went in and arrested Maduro, saying it was unlawful.
Oh,
The
I'm
vice
sure she
president,
wouldn't have done it.
yeah, the vice president whose administration put a $25 million bounty on him. Yeah. So, yeah, there's that. Oh, shut
Meow.
up.
Meow.
What that damn cat's meowing about? What are you meowing about, stupid? About to kill somebody. That cat's getting on my nerves.
You won't do it.
I go after he's gonna run. I know it.
I'm sure.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Damn animals. I have about had my fill with them.
You need to get some more.
Yeah, Moose says Maduro had a 50 million bounty. Yeah, that was after Trump took office. They Trump administration raised it. It was 25 under Biden, which is what Eric Adams was referring to about when it was placed right before Trump took office. And really, the Biden administration just raised it because initially they had put a $15 million, not $15 bounty. Back in the Old West, that might have worked.
Yeah.
Uh, he initially had a $15 million bounty right before Trump took office. The Biden administration had raised it to 25, and then after Trump took office, it went up to 50. But mostly what everybody's been talking about today was how the Biden administration made it 25 million because of all the people on the left throwing a fit about the uh, capture of Maduro rather. So yeah, you're gonna see if you go on X, a lot of people bringing up the $25 million part, especially where Kamala Harris is concerned because she's bitching about it, like all the other good leftists. I saw one person say, "Thank God Rob Reiner wasn't here to see this."
Wow.
Like, are you serious? Like, guy's brutally murdered, and this is your silver lining. I mean, that's pretty sick if you think about it. But then I guess that's par for the course for the left anymore. They have no
Yeah.
shame. That's why I said a bitch in most of those comments about the kicker in Baltimore from a bunch of people on the left, especially Baltimore, because most of what Baltimore is. How dare you miss a field goal? I hope your entire family's killed. Yeah, that has got to be from a leftist, that comment, especially. Right. Seriously, who the hell wishes somebody who missed a field goal has their whole family get killed one by one? That's just disgusting. Reprehensible. I just don't know what else to call it. It's reprehensible and disgusting. So, you got any other ideas what we could call that?
No.
Animalistic, maybe?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Demented? Somebody's renting the apartment in the one house that Amy and I looked at for $650 a month. It was a house with a apartment in it too. I was like, yeah, if we could have got that, could have paid off the mortgage just from the rent collected. It was a one bedroom apartment, been perfect for like a college student. And since this is a college town, the house was right down the street from the college. Yeah, probably would have had a decent amount of turnover because if you rent it to college students, though, but
Right.
as long as they pay their rent, I guess.
Pack Rat says he's falling asleep.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh no! Don't do that. Oh, good night, Pack Rat. Yeah, I was shocked with how well this background turned out. I don't know if you were out there when I said what I did. I used Grok to make that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I tried doing it on using Adobe's AI thing that they have, and the words were just gibberish. You couldn't make any of them. Yeah,
Bless you.
thank you. Grok came out nice and legible. You can actually read the words on there if you had a big enough screen, I suppose. I don't know if on a 10-inch screen you'd be able to, but the words, yeah, you can make out every one of those words and everything. Grok did a really good job with that. I like the way the eagle turned out too.
Hmm.
Should have did a poll. How many of you would have realized that this was an AI picture if I hadn't said so? It doesn't look like something people would think of when they think of an AI picture. I mean, that was really well done. It ain't like the eagle has three wings or something. Like when you see these bad pictures in movies of people where they got like three arms. It's funny. You ever watch some of these videos that these Palestinians are putting out? They'll have some guy like digging a trench to try and drain off flood water. And next thing you know, he's got like two arms on the shovel and another arm scratching his head. It's like, wait a minute. Something ain't right here. Either this guy's an alien or that's AI.
Hmm.
There was one where there was a mother holding a baby in two arms and a bottle with a third hand growing out of the one arm. Jeez. They don't even care that it's AI. They're putting this shit on the internet as being real. And all you gotta do is pay attention. You can make out that all these damn videos are AI. It's insane. It's like I was watching a live stream on one of the Christian channels I follow on YouTube, and they were watching one of the Muslims' live streams because the Muslim guy challenged them to call into his show, and they tried, and it wouldn't let them. So the
Wow.
guy, anyway, the Muslim guy says, "Okay, we'll take a random caller." It's like Mary, the Mother of God, was the name on the screen. And they start talking to the what person in quotation marks. It was an AI. they they were debating an AI live stream with a really bad Irish accent, I might add. It was funny as hell. They just don't care. They get caught doing this shit because their followers aren't going to care. It's ridiculous. The best part is they showed that on live on stream that they could not join this guy's uh, live feed. I forget what program he was using, Google Meetup or something like that. And this guy's followers still go on the individual X accounts of these guys, asking them why they're running from the guy. It's like they have video proof that they couldn't join, and yet the guy's followers still are accusing them of being cowards and running from him. It's insane. It's absolutely freaking insane. And the best part is they keep challenging this guy to debate them at DebateCon, and he won't do it. He refuses to debate anybody in an organized debate. It has to be under a situation that he has control of. If he doesn't have control, he doesn't want to do it. Uh, the Muslim guy's name is Sheikh Uthman, or as he's also known, Sheikh Ibn bin Fibin, Sheikh Ibn Ketchup. What else is there? There's a couple other ones I'm trying to remember. Sheikh Ibn Smollett. Reason why is he's been caught lying multiple times, hence Ibn bin Fibin. And the Ibn bin Ketchup and the Ibn Smollett, he faked a hate crime against himself. He got in an argument with somebody, and the guy left. He got this bright idea that he was going to fake that the guy had stabbed him. He got the fakest looking fake blood in the world and sprayed it all over his clothes. You could literally see the spray splatter, which would not be there if you were stabbed. That's not how blood works, you know? And so he goes on, he makes a video, a selfie of this. There's no blood anywhere in his car except on him, right? He supposedly was stabbed outside of the car. There would have been blood on places in the car. You know what I mean? No blood,
Mm-hmm.
no blood whatsoever on him, on anywhere but on him. And the fake blood, it's drying and it's clearly, you know how the Halloween fake blood looks like when it dries? That's exactly what it looked like on the sand. It looked more like goddamn Chinese restaurant sweet and sour sauce than it did blood, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, that orangish red sweet and sour sauce. That's what it looked like. So anyway, he puts out this video and gets called out on it. So the next thing he says is that he's filed a report with the San Diego Police Department, because that's where he lived at the time, was San Diego. And people started contacting San Diego Police Department to see if it was true. Nope. San Diego Police Department has absolutely no record of any police report being filed. So what's he do next? He comes back and says that the case went to court and the guy was convicted. Keep in mind, this is within a matter of a couple of weeks, right? The guy was convicted. He's in prison. Alhamdulillah, he says. Well, the same people that, including actual reporters for major news sources, contact San Diego County Courthouse. Because remember, this is all public record. Court case documents and everything, that's all public record. They contact the courthouse, talk to the clerk of court's office. No record whatsoever of this case ever proceeding to court. They contact the prosecutor's office. Again, remember, this is all public record. No record of the prosecutor's office ever prosecuting any such case. What's this guy's comeback to all that? Oh, he's going to film a documentary about it. And he's got police officers, and they're going to blur the police officers' faces so nobody targets them. Has this guy never watched Discovery Channel or Discovery Investigation? Police officers go on TV all the time on documentaries without their faces being distorted or blurred or anything. Anyway, this was 3 years ago. There still ain't been no documentary. That was the last thing he had to say on it. And his followers believe every word he said, even though it's been disproven time and time again by various reporters and other people that have contacted the authorities, and it does not exist in the court records, police records, or prosecutors' records at all. Yeah. No record of it, but everybody believes him. Everybody believes him. Which, when you look at certain populations within that group, I'm not surprised. Remember, this is I don't know if you were here for this one, but there's guys that are proudly proclaiming that Islam allows first cousin marriage. And first cousin marriage is one of the leading causes of mental retardation in children. And you had the Dawa guy, Daniel Hakikachu, who flat out in a debate admitted he'd be happier if the world was full of people whose IQs were 80 and lower if they were Muslim. That's 10 points above being labeled as mentally retarded by U.S. standards, folks. The mental retardation cutoff is 70. He says 80 or lower would be preferable to where we're at now, which is an average of around 100.
Wow.
It's all on YouTube, by the way. Modern Day Debate. Their last series of debates. It was Daniel Hakikachu. I think he was who was he debating? Andrew Wilson, maybe? That might have been who. That might have been the debate against Andrew Wilson. Anyway, it's on Modern Day Debates channel on YouTube. You can look that up and watch it if you want. It's so bad it's funny. It really is. Andrew Wilson just tears him apart. Then you had another guy, goes by the name Junior with a V instead of a U. He was debating apostate prophet, Junior Muslim, apostate prophet, Orthodox Christian, former Muslim. And AP asks him a question, and he looks over at what Junior's doing because Junior starts typing on his computer. Junior was asking ChatGPT the answer to the question AP had just asked him.
Wow.
Yeah. Dude got busted live in a debate using ChatGPT. This is Islamic Dawah, guys. These are the guys that are supposed to know this shit. For those of you who don't know, Dawah is basically Islamic missionary work. Only much stupider, and they lie a lot. But anyway, what time is it? Going on 12:30. It's after 12:30.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, been going for 3.5 hours. I think it's time to start wrapping this up. So, you got anything you want
Probably.
to plug? Yeah, you got anything you want to plug or anything?
I'm doing my show tomorrow night, 9 o'clock p.m. Central. We'll open up the season for Foul Territory. So hopefully everybody can make it. Thanks for having me.
Yep, not a problem. I want to thank everybody who was out there watching. Still says we got 2 on YouTube. We did have 5 on Rumble, but most of them dropped because I said we're closing out. So, yeah, thanks for watching. And remember, if you want to help the channel, but you don't want to contribute on Rumble, which you can do just like you would a super chat on YouTube. Can't do super chats yet. Can't do contributions on X, not monetized on either one of those channels, and monetized on Rumble. But if you don't want to go that route, or you don't want to use PayPal, which you can find in the description of the video as well, you can find a link for you PayPal if you want to help there. Don't forget our affiliates. Like, oh, come on, work. Why isn't this working? Hold on, I might have to refresh this. Give me a second.